Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another video. Today we are going to be testing blocks and their sounds. We're going to rate it a score out of 10 and a satisfaction score out of 10, and we're going to figure out what the best block sound is. And first up, we got the note block, so let's hop right into it. So with the note block, there's multiple different things you can do with it. Different blocks underneath produce a different sound. For demonstration, we're going to use emeralds only. It gives us a nice high-pitched sound. So for sound, it's definitely pretty loud, so we're going to give it 7 out of 10. And then satisfaction, I think because we get the whole scale, it gets a 10 for satisfaction right there. On to the next block, and we got the jukebox, one of my all-time favorite blocks, and we're going to play one of my all-time favorite discs, Pig Step. Yeah, we're giving it a 10 out of 10. There's no way it doesn't get a 10 out of 10 in both categories. I mean, half of it because of the disc, but you get it. Jukebox, 10 out of 10 block. All right, next up we have the bell. And the bell, well, we all know, one of the most obnoxious things in the game. If you just sit there these are really fun when you set them up under people's bases and just observe them together, and they just constantly ring. For loudness, we'll give it an 8 because from once you get farther away, you actually can't really hear it. It gets real quiet. But satisfaction, I'm gonna give it a 7. All right, and then next up we have the normal chest. We're just gonna start off opening and closing it. All right, solid, solid. One of the most obnoxious blocks because if you constantly do this, well, no, I lied. You do constantly do this. It's Minecraft. You're constantly opening and closing. It gets a little obnoxious after a bit. So we're gonna give it a sound score for loudness. We'll give it an 8. And satisfaction, we'll give it like a 4. And next up, we got the trap chest. Same exact thing. There's actually no sound difference. There's just an extra difference, but not really doing anything. So we're going to give it the same exact score. And then we got the ender chest. These are the best things ever. I like the little reverberations at the end. I'm not going to lie. We're going to give it a sound score, a 7. And then satisfaction, we'll give it a 9. We're feeling generous today. All right, next up we got the barrel. Nice deep tone. Pretty on the quiet side, so we're actually gonna give it a 4 for sound. No, we'll give it a little bit higher. We'll go 6. 6 for sound, and then satisfaction 4. It's just normal shulker boxes. Shulker boxes. I think we go same as the barrel. We'll go 6 for sound, 4 for satisfaction, and then we got the anvil. So we got multiple different noises here for the anvil, so it can score pretty high here. We got the falling anvil. Nice little smack on the ground right there. And then we have the combining sound, which, in all reality, is a extraordinarily loud sound. And we'll give it a 10 for sound. That was pretty loud. And then satisfaction, that sound is so obnoxious. We're giving it a 4 for satisfaction. Like, there's no way that gets a high score. All right, we got the grindstone. This enchantment, I do quite enjoy it. It's not as loud, so we're gonna only give it uh 6 for sound for how loud it is, and satisfaction it gets a 10. It's just a great block all around. All right, next up we got the smithing table. Yep. And then this one, when you combine stuff together, it makes a sound. Ooh, I do quite like the doot doot doot. So sound, we'll give it a 7. I mean, it's decently loud, decently quiet. Satisfaction. Satisfaction, we will give it, I'd say, an 8. Now we got the cartography table. Put them together. I love the little scribbles. Little scribbles are always good. One of the best things here at Little Scribbles. Sound wasn't very loud. We'll give it a 2. Satisfaction, we will give it, say, a 4. Not the best, could be better. And then we got the banner, the loom, the banner pattern. Ooh, I kind of like that. I mean, it gets a 6. It wasn't very loud, but I will. What do we want to give it? Satisfaction. Satisfaction, I'd say. And you know what? I'm gonna give it a 10. That's pretty hard to get a satisfaction of 10. I know we've given out a few already, but I promise it gets worse. Alright, stone cutter. What do we want to make? Wall. Okay, not gonna lie. That was not satisfying at all. I mean, maybe if we had it multiple times, but it only plays at once no matter how many blocks you add. So, sound score, we'll give it a 4. Wasn't very loud. Satisfaction, we'll also give it a 4. I didn't like it very much, to be honest. Alright, we got the lecterns. We got the placing book sound. Alright, alright. Then we got the flip page book where it says, like and subscribe, please. Do it. I'm not a sellout, I promise. But, back to the sound. Pretty good. But, actually like and subscribe. It's totally a shameless plug. So, for the lectern, it wasn't very loud. I'm gonna give it that. We're gonna give it a 2 on loudness. Wasn't the loudest, wasn't too quiet, but wasn't the best. So we will give it satisfaction. And we do get the book page turning, so we'll give it a 5. The enchantment table does make a sound. Alright. And then put it together. Ooh. Decent sound. Not gonna lie. I quite enjoy it. I'll say it gets a higher sound score. Alright. I give it like a 7 sound score. And then satisfaction. We will give it. I mean, everybody loves the enchantment sound, but it does get annoying after. But we're gonna give it 4. Alright, next up we got gravel. I'm not gonna lie. I'm giving it a 2. I'm not gonna lie. I'm giving it a 2 all around. There's nothing special about it. It's just gravel. Alright, we got sand. Same thing. Giving it a 2 all around. It's just sand. Alright, we got snow. Alright, see this one? It does give us a little bit of crunch. We do get a nice little crunch with it. Not gonna lie. So we're gonna give it a 1 on sound. It's not very loud. I'm hoping you guys can hear it, because I barely can. So we get a 1 on sound. And then satisfaction, we'll give it a 7. That's pretty satisfying. Next up, we got powdered snow. So pretty chilly, not gonna lie. Sound, another quiet one. We'll give it a 1 for sound. Pretty quiet. Not as crunchy as the normal snow. So I think I'm gonna have to give it probably a 3. Soul sand. Sounds a lot like normal sand, not gonna lie. And it slows you down, so that's getting negative points. But it is decently loud, so we'll give it a 4 sound score. And then satisfaction, 2. Nothing really too special here. Soul sand. It's a little bit louder than soul soil is a little bit louder than soul sand, surprisingly. Yeah, so we will give it a 5 on the sound score. Satisfaction, I kind of like it a little bit better than the soil, so we'll give it a 3. Alright, next up we got the amethyst. It's real quiet, which is fine. You know, people may really enjoy the sound of the amethyst. It gets obnoxious after a while. I'm giving it sound score for loudness, probably a 3, and then satisfaction, I'll give it a 5. I feel like that's fair. And we need to get rid of these. Same exact score for the budding amethyst. It's pretty much the same exact block. Alright, now we got dripstone. You know, I kind of like it. I like the squishiness of it. Sound score. Walking on it, real quiet. We'll give it a 2. Satisfaction. We give it a 9. I know it's crazy. Alright. That sounded squishy for a second. I don't know why. Oh. Next, we got the dripstone. You know, I rate it. It's pretty good. It might get a 10 across the board. I'm doing it again. Alright, so loudness. Not as loud as everything else. So I can't give it that high. We'll give it an 8. Decent sound, but it gets a 10 out of 10 for satisfaction. Alright, next up we got the piston and sticky piston. They sound exactly the same, but they get a 10 for how loud they are. And to be honest, everybody loves the sound of sticky pistons. And that's why it's getting 10s across the board for me. I got nothing else to say. Alright, next up we got the dispenser, right? Yep, dispenser. It's quiet. I'm gonna give it a 3, quiet scale. And then satisfaction. Not very satisfying. We'll give it a 2. Alright, next up we got the dropper. Pretty much same thing. Actually, same exact sound. Same score as the dispenser. Alright, redstone lamp. I can't tell if the dupe is coming from the lever. I don't know. That gets mystery out of mystery. I don't know if it's actually making sound or not. Alright, next up we got the door. Alright, sound. We'll give it a 6. Satisfaction. Good old 8. Alright, we got the iron door. See, I love you get the clink of the actual door locking afterwards because you can't open it normally. So, sound score, we'll give it an 8 again. And then satisfaction, we'll give it a 9 even. Alright, next we got the trap door. Sounds a lot like the door. To be honest, we're just going to give it the same as the cherry door. Alright, next up we got the iron trap door. You know? It does sound different. We'll give it a 7 on the loudness. 6 on the satisfaction. Next up we got the gate. Yep, alright. Yeah, I think I just chose bamboo because it sounds the best, but we're basing it off of what I chose. Sound score gets an 8. 10 out of 10 on satisfaction. Rails. Alright, we got rails next. And you know, it's loud, and I kind of like it. So, we'll give it 7 on sound, 7 on satisfaction. And we got activator rails. I think those are activator rails, right? Yep, activator rails. I don't know why the minecart's tweaking out. I'm not gonna lie. We'll just leave it there. 7 out of 7 again. Sounds the exact same. These are a little different. 7 out of 7 again? 6 out of 10 for sound, 7 for satisfaction. Alright, next we got the campfire. If it'll play its sound. There we go. It's cozy. It gets 10 out of 10 in both categories. Not gonna lie. Alright, next up we got lava. Gotta get real close and personal with this one. There we go. One little ploop. Can't give it that high. I would have loved to give lava a much higher scale, but it just didn't do it. So we're gonna give it 4 for sound, 5 for satisfaction. We got water. Splish, splash, splish, splash. That's quiet. 2 for sound, 4 for satisfaction. Now we got the bubbles. We love bubbles. 8 for sound, 10 for satisfaction. Love it. Can't go wrong. Alright, next we got the beacon. Beacon sound. Classic. Beacon activation. Classic. We'll give it 8 for sound, 9 for satisfaction. Get that out of here. Alright, now we got the calm potion. Alright. Composter. Love the boop at the end. It's pretty good. Other than that, just sounds like bone meal. I'll give it 8 for sound. It was decent. No, not 8. 6 for sound. It's decently loud. Satisfaction does change pitch. I'll give it that. I did give the note block higher because it changed pitch. So I have to do it here. And I'm going to give it a 5. I know, so much higher. Next up, we got the brewing stand. Alright. We're lowering the sound score because it did make me wait. And I wasn't expecting to wait. So, sound score, give it a 7. Did change pitch. We gave it that. Satisfaction. Gets a 10. It's one of a kind. Alright, we got the furnace. Well, it had. There we go. A nice, deep, smooth. Alright. Not very high on the sound score. Gets a 6. I guess it is decently high. It's over half. But it's not as high as some other things. So, 6 on that. Satisfaction? We'll give it a 6 also. It's pretty good. Next up's the smoker. Same exact sound, so it gets a 6 and another 6 also. Alright. Blast furnace. Same exact sound. Alright, so those 3 get 6s. Shulker. Shulker. Love the shulkers. Mortifying to hear when you're mining. Not gonna lie. But for sound, we will give it an 8. You know, it gets an 8 on the sound score. Satisfaction. I don't know how satisfying that is to hear. It's probably more mortifying to hear, but if you're just having sound effects, don't know what it is, and you hear it, you probably think, oh, that's pretty cool. So, we'll give it a 7. Next up, we got the Storm Shrieker. This thing gets a 10 on how loud it is. It is absolutely... I'm going to stand on the other side of the wall while I talk about this. Gets a 10 for how loud it is. It's pretty good. I'm not going to lie. Satisfaction. It's first block that shrieks, so I'm going to have to give it a 10. Now, we're on to the squishy things. So, first off, we got the slime blocks. Gets a 4. Not very loud. But, once again, it's a slime block. Everybody loves the sound of slimes. We're giving it a 10. Next up, we got the honey block. See, this. I hate this block. It's so squishy. Just, yeah. And then you try to jump on it. Can't even jump. It's just so sticky and squishy. I don't like it. You know what? Even better? Yeah, see, you'll see why I'm giving this a horrible score after I drink this. Yeah. Yeah, it gets a 0 on satisfaction. We'll give it 4 for sound. And the hay bale. That's special about the hay bale. Last minute addition. It's not for the fact it has sound. It's for the fact it's lack thereof sound. Nothing. But if you drop over here, you get sound. There's a sound, I promise. Walk over it, you get a little like you're walking through tall grass. So, sound score, it gets a 0. First 0 of the day for sound score. But just for the fact it got 0 sound score, we're giving it 10 on the satisfaction. Because I can't not do it. It's awesome that there's a lack thereof sound. So, and that finishes that off. And I thank everyone here for finishing the video and making it all the way through. And I hope you have a wonderful night. Peace out.